Welcome, amazing agents from across the country. Today is Thursday, September 29th, 2017, and this is Mastermind call number 145. And we do have 4 people in the queue. Thank you so much. Anybody who would like to actively participate, questions, comments, success stories, challenges, nothing is off limits. Just hit *6 and then hit 1. And let me go around the room here, the virtual room with my partners. Tim, anything you want to share with the group?
Yeah, one of the things that we have talked about a couple of times on this call, and certainly there's been I think, pretty consistent request for, we just have added a new part of the subscriber portal under Mailbox Motivator in the campaign setup area. Many of you have asked what else can you do for us in regard to the printing. You like what we do there, and we like to do that. So we've put up an area. If you simply click on campaign setup and scroll down, in addition to the sample campaign letters, you'll now see that there's been added another area that says postcards and brochures, and in there are 7 more samples, and we'll be adding more of them over time, but there are 7 samples that you can look at if you like one of those, or that springs an idea for you that you want to do. We'll do anything that you want. Just pick one, take a look at it, download it, get back in touch with us, and we will work with you to put together whatever you want to put out, and we're happy to do that with you. So in response to your request, we've given you some samples, and you can go enjoy those.
Tim, I'm assuming that includes the trifold brochure that a couple of our agents have shared with us for the attorneys?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep, it does have trifolds in there.
Wonderful. Yeah, we've had really, especially if you're going to visit them face-to-face and drop something off, it's impressive. It's not anything you need to send out to all the executors, although I'm sure some people do. But that's a really nice brochure. I don't remember who it was that shared that with us, but we've had a number of people that have dropped that off personally to attorneys that have gotten great results. All right, Chad, anything you want to share from a coaching training perspective?
Nope. Everything I'm
Chad,
working on is behind the curtain.
I just realized next, you and I, you're the Wizard of Oz there behind the curtain. He is working on a lot, guys. Chad's our innovator, chief innovator, implementer, idea person. I mean, we all bring ideas to the table, but we are working on a lot of new things and products for you. Chad, I just realized next Wednesday would normally be the first of the month role play call. And I know you and I are not going to be available. You want to just postpone that to the following Wednesday?
No, let's make Tom do it.
Great.
All right, Tom, you're coach of the week. But seriously,
yeah, so,
I think
let's just. So guys, we normally do the role play call at 2:00 on the Eastern on the first Wednesday of every month. Let's just say here that we're going to punt that because our planning period, we will be off grid for that time. So let's look at Sue and Jim the 11th. We'll be in planning meetings. So how about this, guys? Watch your email. We're going to reschedule the role play call.
Okay, yeah. We make sure we do that every month. Chad and I, first time I think in 5 years, we're actually going to ride the Greenbrier bike trail, about an 80-mile bicycle ride. So we're actually going to take 2 days off, but probably postpone that role play call to the 3rd week. But we'll let you all know. I just didn't want anybody expecting that and showing up. Tom, anything from a customer service perspective that you would like to share?
Oh, just my normal. If you need anything, we're here to help. Just send us an email to support@alltheleads.com, and we track those and get back to you as quickly as possible.
And as always, you can either hit the Contact Us button or use that support@alltheleads email. And please, guys, be really specific about what you need help with. We've got 4 partners, and I think we have a half a dozen employees now at least. And if you're real specific about what you need help with, the right person will call you back the first time. And I think our response time is still less than 20 minutes. We really pride ourselves on trying to get back to you as soon as possible. I didn't promise 20, but our average is less than that. We'll normally get right back to you, and we want to be there for you. We want to help you with what you need help with. Having said that, we've got 5 people that are in the queue. Let's get to the first one this week. somebody I've never heard of before. Rodger Lecy, you're up first.
Good afternoon, everybody. Rodger Lecy in beautiful Fayetteville, Arkansas, home of Washington County, Tyson Corporate, and Walmart Corporate's just right up the street. And I can't brag about the Razorbacks just yet. So
okay. Well, thank you, Walter, with the Chamber of Commerce for the Arkansas Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, sir.
Exactly. That's about as metropolitan as we get. Timothy, I believe you've answered my question. I sent an email in, and I'm looking to change up the look and feel of my direct mail in what I'm doing. What I have been doing, and it's worked pretty well because I got a phone call this week from the direct mail. I've been mailing a letter. I change up the letter between the personal representative and the attorney, and then I change the last one to I do 3 mailings a month, and I've had pretty good success with getting my name in. Attorneys recognize me when I walk in the office. I've got your stuff right here, and I have a quick visit with them. But I want to try to do something a little bit different, and I know that my experience in direct mail is changing it up might make a different impact. I'm thinking about going into just a letter on the first mailing, a postcard, and my trifold, and a letter in the last one. I may add a trifold in the first one and just go with a postcard in the second one, and in the third one hit a little bit harder. I know that it's working because I am getting some inbound calls from my direct mail, but I think I can do better with a different delivery of the message and different emphasis. I'm going to be changing up my trifold significantly, and we'll just be testing that for 2018. So good job, and I hadn't heard from Tim or the Mailbox Motivator. Actually, I might have. It's just my hair has been on fire lately with business, and I haven't been as judicious as looking at my emails as I should have been because I'm taking care of deals.
I think we got back to you, but the other thing I was going to suggest to you is, and this is, we'll play off that for a second. This applies to you and everybody else. You've got a system that's working now, and it's always good to make changes and look at what you can do to change them. Let's take this offline, and what I'm going to suggest you do, Rodger, is maybe I know you don't get a tremendous volume, but why don't we split test this? Why don't you make some changes to one, and then we'll divide your list up into 2, make them into 2 custom lists, and we'll upload them that way, and you can see which ones you get the best traction out of.
I like that idea. I always like testing email because that's the only way you really find out when something works and how you might be able to make it better.
So we'll help you. We'll help you figure out how to do that, bud.
Okay. If I got the email, I've just been running to catch my tail here lately. Life is good, and God's blessed me with a lot of business. But thank you very much, Tim. I'll look it up, and I'll just crank in my search for Mailbox Motivator and see what you said.
All right, but Rodger, I think we just said what I said, which is let's talk about what you want to do, and then we'll be glad to help you figure out what you want to do and how to do it. And I think we just mentioned that, so you don't need to look for it.
Hey, Rodger, we have four more people in the queue, so I'm not going to take a lot of time. Thank you for participating, but I did want to ask you how long have you been with the program? Is it a couple years now, or has it just seemed that long?
November will be next month. It'll be about 2 years. And
2 years. That's what I thought. And you were nice enough to do a video, and I don't know where people can find that. I'm sure it's in our system somewhere. But what had you when you did that video? You had some incredible ROI. Do you remember what it was? What was your ROI on everything you've spent with probate?
Yeah, my ROI was about 575% return on my investment on that, and
Wow.
it's gonna probably be reflected this year. I'm gonna let somebody else do a video for 2017, but it was a good return on my investment. And then whenever anybody calls me and asks me about it, I mention that to them, and more importantly than that, on the long term, that's a short-term return on investment. More important to me is winning the families and adding them to my sphere of influence, because I'm getting referrals off of the families that I helped in 2016. Now, do I count that as a part of my ROI in 2017? Yeah, I probably will. But you let me know, you coach me in here and tell me whether or not I need to get those referrals off of probate sales that I had before and include those, because I'm getting referrals off of those families, and I think that in the long term I'm building my business so that I don't have to do as much marketing for the referrals down the road, building up to about 150, and I added probably 20 from my probate business into my sphere of influence and marketing to my sphere of influence.
Excellent. Well, you're a perfect example that, you don't need huge numbers to be really successful with this. You average, 15 to 20 leads a month? Is that about right?
Yeah, it's probably some months I get about 35, but mostly it's down around 20 to 25 leads a month that I get in Washington County, Arkansas.
And you do a great job of squeezing every ounce of business out of them. So we really appreciate you coming back and always being willing to talk to people and share your experiences. Really appreciate it, Rodger. And I'm going to move on. We've got 4 more people in the queue. Next up is phone number ending in 5086. You're up next. Are you there? Phone number ending in 5086. You should be up. Hello, hello. All right. I hear somebody breathing. That's you. The person breathing, that's you. All right. 941 area code ending in 5086. I'm going to move on, but if you do want to ask a question, please hit *6 and then hit the code, hit 1 again, and we'll move you towards the end. Next person up is phone number ending in 6515. You're up.
Hi there. This is Rick Taylor in Venice, Florida. And
Hey, Rick.
I'm new to the system, and I think Rodger Lecy just answered all of my questions. I haven't got my first leads yet, but I work an awful lot with referrals. And, I was wondering what the return on investment was really on probate, and how successful people were as far as taking those families and having repeat business.
So if you go to alltheleads.com, and in the top menu you'll see blog, and if you click on blog, one of the top 3 posts will be calculating your ROI, your probate ROI. Mm-hmm. And I made a calculator where you can plug in your own assumptions. So you can put in your market median price, you can put in what you think your conversion rate is. There's also a video that accompanies it that kind of tells you what to expect for conversion rates. A lot of folks in hyper-competitive markets are converting 1% to 2%, but even at that, typically in markets like that, the median prices are higher, so they're still breaking 1,500% ROI. Some of our subscribers are getting 45 leads a month and closing 6 or 8 deals consistently. So that blows that out of the water, but you've got to kind of look at it and say, what do I think is reasonable? If you're diligent, you should be closing, 2%. And if you're in a hyper-competitive market, 1% probably still makes a whole lot of sense. But you can use that calculator to kind of set your own expectations.
Yeah, one of the most common questions I get asked when I'm talking to a prospect is, what's the conversion rate? And it probably sounds facetious, but I always say between 1% and 20%. That's really accurate. What's one thing I do share with everybody is, as an old real estate coach, it frustrates me when agents refuse to pick up the phone. And I always tell them, regardless of how competitive your market is, if you're willing to follow that letter up with the phone call, you're going to have a significantly better conversion rate. Because, in competitive markets, these people do get a lot of letters. The mail is hit or miss. I mean, we have agents that have done 20, 25 deals without ever picking up the phone, but they're not in Miami, New York, or LA. They're in more rural areas. So, but if you follow that letter up with a phone call, you're going to have very, very little competition, and your conversion rate is going to be multiple times higher than it would be if you just send them a letter. And we always
just like Rodger was.
Yeah.
Like Rodger was saying, Rodger wasn't actually counting the other deals he's getting referred, but he's built a referral network, and that's a supplement to your marketing. So you might get 2% conversion on direct marketing, but over time you should be able to increase that significantly by building a referral network of attorneys, financial advisors, estate planning attorneys, nursing home employees. Everybody who deals with people in this stage of life can send you referrals and really skyrocket that return.
Yeah, and Chad, we only have. Go ahead.
Well, I appreciate all of your support. You guys have been very, very great. 20 minutes on your response time for any of my questions. I'm just anxiously waiting my leads.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for participating, Rick. Rick, please come back and share your successes in the future. We only have two more people in the queue. I was just going to add one other thing, Chad. Rodger talked about growing his business from the sphere of influence. We've had a number of agents that have remarked to us that they've done very well by establishing listing presence in neighborhoods they've never been in before. And one of my all-time favorite stories was someone had asked us on a call, my estate sale company is doing a big yard sale this weekend. Do I need to attend? And we said, no, you really don't. They're licensed, insured. And we had another agent pipe right in and say, I went to the estate sale last weekend, the yard sale. I met 15 of the neighbors and I listed 2 of their properties. So you think about it, if your company's doing estate sales, it's kind of like a reverse just listed, just sold. It's a really good opportunity to establish a presence in a neighborhood, have the people come to you, and you're doing something that most agents don't do. It's a very good opportunity to get some residual business from, just establishing presence in new areas also, in addition to the SOI, which Rodger's done so well with. So just wanted to re-mentioned that idea, and we have 2 more people in the queue, guys. We have time for a few more, so again, hit *6 and hit 1. And then next up is phone number ending in 1990. You're up next.
Hi, it's Kay. Can you guys hear me?
Hi, Kay.
Hi, how are you? So I'm basically from New York. Our market is in Manhattan. And I just sent out the letters, and today I said, yesterday I was going to call today, and then it hit me, and I just froze up, and I was like, okay, I sent the letters. What am I going to say to these people? Because I did listen to a couple of other mastermind calls, and some of them are basically, you have people that are just saying that they're working with investors right now, and that's your objective, and how you're going to get around it. Well, in Manhattan, we don't really have that. We don't really have people that are going to come in and say, hey, we'll buy all cash for a home that's approximately an average of $1.5 million, especially when the homeowner knows that they'll put it on the market and they'll get top dollar. So it's really not about a quick sale cash. You know what I mean? Maybe there's maybe 1 or 2 maybe in dire situation or something like that. But it's not a market where we have, these cash buyer investors. So my question is, since I'm going to be calling today for the first time, how would I really go about this? I mean, I did copy the letter that says introduction and rapport building, starting the conversation with your probate USP, explain why you contacted them, and outline what options you can provide for them. So if I were if I was the prospect, how would you approach me? What would you say?
So I think the best thing for you to do is jump into the Module 3 of Probate Fast Track. So when you first log into your subscribers portal,
Okay.
You there, Chad?
That's kind of it. Sounds like you've already been there. You've got the probate seller
Yeah, I
interview
did.
sheet, but watch
Yeah.
that video again.
Okay.
And once you've watched that, take the probate
Mhm.
seller interview sheet and go over to, on the left, click on conference calls,
Conference call.
conference call archive, and go through the role play calls. And that's going to be the best thing to get you there quickly, like something that you could do today, is to go back and listen to role play calls. Now, it's kind of in a calendar format, so when you get in there, you can click back the left-hand button to take you back in time. We do one role play call per month, and I try to summarize every call. So what you want to look for is in those call summaries, look for initial conversation role play, and that will help you. That'll help you establish, your language.
Role play. Okay, because I sent out letters to all the executives. Do you think I should have sent automatically to the attorneys? Because when I listened today again,
No.
It was basically
no.
Okay, perfect.
You should go meet them face to face. Save your mail.
Right. Meet them face to meet. Yeah, that's what I heard.
Like, put on comfortable shoes. Put on comfortable shoes. Put on comfortable shoes and go for a long walk. Stop by all their offices.
Got it.
Kay, doing this 5 years now, we've yet to have an agent tell us that they've been real successful with mailing or calling attorneys. The dozens of agents that have done because they have gatekeepers that you probably aren't going to get past.
Yeah. Right.
So you got, make up a nice brochure, a nice flyer, go by their office, try to get some FaceTime with them. And probably don't do that to every attorney. Go down your attorney column, identify the ones that are doing multiple deals every month, and go. I shouldn't say target, but I will say target them first. Go after the players that are doing multiple deals and let them know. You can look down. You just look at your list. If you're getting 50 or 100 leads, they'll be look down the attorney column, and you can. It's an Excel spreadsheet. You can sort it according to attorney. So just go for the ones doing multiple deals, because they're going to be the ones that are going to give you the most business and most likely need your help. Make sense?
Makes sense. That definitely 100%.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you. We only have one more person in the queue. We got plenty of room for more, guys. Hit *6 and hit 1. See, I was just bragging that our calls go over an hour. Thank you. We have 2 in there now. Phone number ending in 3213. You're up next.
Hi, this is Paula. Can you hear me?
Hi there. We can hear you.
Hi. Okay, good. Yeah. I'm partner with Kay, who spoke prior to me, and we're both in New York City. And my question would be, so I did some mailing. Is there any type of mailing that somehow, from coming from New York, people respond differently? I know we have this mailing, but should it be different if you're from New York or like big cities like New York, and people respond perhaps differently in a certain type of letter? I put my picture in it, and then the logo of my real estate company to make it a bit more professional. Any thoughts on that?
Well, let me ask you a couple of questions. Let me just ask a couple of questions in regard to the mailing side of this. It's an interesting question, and the mailing is a kind of a dual purpose or a dual function. One of them is that it needs to reflect who you are and what you particularly bring to the game. The market is not so dependent on that. Everybody who's in this situation, whether they're in California, New York, or Arkansas, if they're dealing with a probate, they're dealing with the same kinds of sets of circumstances. Obviously, the difference in New York is you've got some transportation issues, you've got a whole bunch of different issues. You also tend to have potentially higher priced things in the marketplace there, but the issues are the same. It's still someone's died, someone's responsible for it, and the property has to get moved to the point that it can be sold. And you've got a lot of other issues. You really should highlight potentially your capabilities as a realtor, in addition to being capable of handling it from a probate standpoint. Just that you also talk about your excellence as a realtor and how good you are at getting things sold in New York City or in the New York metro marketplace. But the issues aren't any different. The market isn't any different from that standpoint in regard to probate. It's just that the market is different in regard to real estate. And so I think you might need to, again, differentiate yourself as best you can from your competition in the market. And you already said something about putting your logo on there and all that sort of stuff. So you're on the right track, but the markets are pretty much the same. Probate's probate. Chad, are you going to comment at all?
No,
because I'm thinking, each town, each cities across America, it's a culture thing. People, we all came from different culture, therefore we respond differently to different things. So I'm just asking, is perhaps should we market ourselves in a different way in the city? And New Yorkers are different breed of people compared to the South, and they're not a big BS people. Like they all want to get to the point. You know what I'm saying? They're not very big into the schmooshing, and they're just like. So I'm just
So here's the deal.
curious.
This is why we don't.
Yeah.
This is why we don't do scripts, and this is why we tell you, if you paid attention in Fast Track, customize everything you touch. Don't change it so much. What the letters you see there have produced millions of dollars in commissions. So if you want to get your culture and your business values into it, perfect. You should look at the probate seller interview sheet, and you should come up with your own script if you want to call it that. But that's why we don't offer scripts, because what's working in Arkansas is not going to work in Manhattan.
Yes, exactly.
So yes, you should not be afraid to try things.
Yeah. You said
don't be afraid to try.
Probate. What is that you said earlier? Sheet. What sheet was that?
The probate seller interview sheet.
Probate interview sheet. Okay.
It's in step 3 of Fast Track training.
Okay.
Yeah, if you need help finding any of that stuff, just send an email to support at all the leads, and we'll tell you where to find it.
Okay. Okay.
All right. All
okay,
right.
So
Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Question?
We have 3 more people in the queue, but did you have another question?
Yes, just one. So we mailed it at one. We mail it. How many days are we ready to make a phone call?
Are we doing the mailing, or are you doing it?
I did. We did the mailing. We made it last Friday.
Okay, if we're doing it, then we send you one so you know when it's time to pick up the phone. If you're doing it, watch that Fast Track video. It'll tell you, but probably 3 to 4 days later. 3 to 4 days later, okay? All right, thank you. Next up, phone number ending in 5209. You're up next.
Yes, hi. Can you help me? Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you, and hopefully we can help you.
Okay, great. Well, my team and myself, we're new to this. As a matter of fact, we have our first call next Wednesday. So I just wanted to join on the call and just see what it was all about and what people, just to get ideas in advance. So I really don't have any concerns right now, and I don't want to bother you and take up much of your time now. So we're happy to get on board starting Wednesday.
Welcome aboard. After you become successful like Rodger, please come back and share your successes with the group, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. Phone number ending in 6097. You're up next.
Oh, hi. It's Caroline from Houston, Texas. And
hi, Caroline.
Hi. How are you?
Wonderful. Thanks for participating.
Well, thanks for hosting the call. Yeah. So as I'm doing some of my calls, I'm finding that a lot of people are making comments that they actually started listing the property before they even filed probate. And so I would imagine that without having those attorney relationships, that it would be very hard to find those people. I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts on that. And then I'm struggling a little bit, even though I share with people certified probate experts and value proposition and all the things I can help with. It's still sort of, well, I have a listing agent and she's taking care of all that. And so I think communicating how I'm differentiating myself is I still haven't mastered that. And so.
Sure. No, that's a great question. Absolutely.
So I'll put that back at you. I don't think the problem is you. You're just talking to the wrong people. So you're talking the ones that have already listed, and as you know, no surprise, like 25% of them are going to list before the death. 25% will only list with a realtor they have allegiance to. So that knocks 50% of these out from the very beginning. We don't know which ones they are. There's no way to tell. But the ones we're focused on are the ones that we know that we can help and the ones that see value in our service. So don't get down on yourself and don't think that you're doing everything wrong. It sounds like you're just talking to people who don't need the service of a realtor because they already have it. So focus on, the other 50% and reaching the ones that haven't yet spoken to a realtor or weren't proactive in listing the home, before the death.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I think listening to some old role play calls might help, though.
Oh, for sure. I mean, as much of that as you can do, just to listen to my language and other people's, it'll help you, find your confidence level. And that's what that's really all about. Like, the reason we don't give you scripts is because you'll almost never have confidence in a script. But if you kind of think of what are the good questions I'm going to ask, what can I say if somebody says this? And those role play calls are really good to kind of bring that to the top and keep it front of mind for you. So every chance you get, jump in there and listen to a couple.
Right. But could I listen to old recordings of those?
Sure. If you go to, on the left and your subscriber portal, click on conference calls and the blue button for access call archive, and then you use the arrow to the left to go back in time. We have, I think, there's at least 2 years of role play calls archived.
Oh, really? Oh, great.
So you've got a couple of dozen.
Okay, and I'm sorry, where is that on the site? I just logged in.
On the left, you'll see conference calls. When you click on that, you'll see a blue button, Access Call Archive. And at the top of the page, there's a navigation arrow to the left. That'll take you back in time.
Okay, great.
And Carolyn, I was going to share with you the people you do talk to that haven't sold. If you're getting, Chad always calls it probate quicksand. If you're getting the excuse like, oh, I've got it handled, or everything's under control, or my attorney's handling it, there's some great questions that you can ask. My favorite one that Chad has shared before is, oh, okay, great, so your attorney's handling everything, so he already helped you switch your homeowner's insurance over to a vacant house policy, right? And just don't and just shut up, because nobody does that. And if the house has been empty for any period of time, they probably don't even have valid insurance on the property and they don't know it. So just asking good questions like that if they give you like a canned response, it's kind of like you go shopping to the mall to get clothes, and you walk in and you're looking for clothes, and when the salesperson says, "Can I help you?" what's the first thing people say? "No, I'm just looking." It's just a conditioned response that they don't want to be sold. So if you ask them have a few questions that you can ask them that'll get them, off that defensive mode and help them really realize that they do need your help. And yeah, those I think we've gone over those types of things several times in the role play calls, and if you listen to those, I think you'll have a lot more confidence.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. Thanks.
All right. You're very welcome. We have 2 more people in the queue. Phone number ending in 3570. You're up next.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. How you doing?
Great. How about you?
All right. My name is Andre, and I'm out in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yes, sir.
So I got 2 questions I wanted to ask. One thing I wanted to say first, you've been talking about, not giving scripts, out to people you train, because you don't want them to follow, exactly what you do in the scripts, because what you say where you're at versus where they're at might be completely different. And the way I do it is, I've listened to, gurus, friends, watch videos, and I take common things that they say initially to prospects or sellers, and just, I focus on keywords, and that's what I use to, make complete sentences or start a conversation with the seller. And I just have these keywords in a list in a row, and that's basically what helps me to talk to sellers without having to make it seem like I'm reading from a script or something like that,
That's great. Can you give us an example of a keyword that works well for you? Anything off the top of your head?
like right off the top of my head, first thing I might say to them is did I catch you at a good time? Because
Yep.
you know they may be driving, you know, they may be doing something with their kid, but they're, you know, courteous enough to answer their phone. So the first thing I want to know is, can we talk? Is this a good time to talk?
Perfect. And when they say yes, you know, you have permission, implied permission to move forward. That's great.
But sometimes they have told me no, because they were doing this and that and other thing, and then, you know, just schedule a time for me to call them back, and that's worked great for me.
Wonderful.
But
Perfect.
okay, but the question that I have is, so I actually go down to the courthouse to you know, to pull my leads, you know, out of the probate records, and sometimes I come across records that have properties on them that range. Okay, well, first, you know, I try and, you know, here for the Raleigh market, I try to focus in on the you know, the medium home values, you know, plus or minus 30%. And what I find when I pull some of these probate records is that some of them might have properties on them worth $700K, you know, all the way up to $1 million, and I don't necessarily know what to do with them. You know, do I market to these properties, you know, that cost this much? Because I'm thinking to myself, these people are not going to want to deal with me. They'll just deal with a realtor, and there's no.
Oh, so you're an investor.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Do you have
a
realtor
private
that
money?
Go ahead.
Do you have private money?
I have access to private money, yes.
How much?
Right now, maybe like $20,000, up to $20,000.
Okay, so you don't have the confidence to buy $1 million house. If you had $1 million house for $700,000, could you get the money by tomorrow?
Could I get it by tomorrow? No, I could not. Not me myself.
Well, work on that first.
Okay.
So you need to capitalize yourself. If you want to play in that space, go get the money.
Well, it's not that I don't want to play in the space. I guess it might be a confidence issue because of the amount of money that's being dealt with. You know.
That's all it is. They're just zeros, man. Houses are houses. Dollars are dollars. Go find somebody who's well capitalized. Show them how you can do the same thing with $1 million house as you can with a $20,000 house.
Okay.
It's not, you know. I worked in multi-million-dollar real estate, and I had the same confidence issue when I first started. How could I ever sell a $5.5 million condo? It's twice as simple as selling a $50,000 house. So but you have to have confidence when you're working with affluent people. So that's what you need to work on. The easiest way to get confidence in that space is go get yourself well capitalized. Get a couple private lenders with a couple $1 million on deck, and you can walk in there and be like, I'll buy it today for 60 cents on the dollar.
Okay, understood.
And we always go ahead, Tim.
You're in a market where it is a ripe market for investors because a lot of people have come out of RTP with a lot of money and they look to invest, and you need to advertise for it. You need to go find them. You need to find the places that those people are. I mean, you can certainly start just by looking at Craigslist. There are people that offer real estate investment dollars on Craigslist. There are resources in your community for lenders. You know, there are lots of places that you can find where people will offer you the money, and all you've got to do, make sure that you do is that you package the opportunities up professionally. Obviously, the more money they're going to lend you, at least in the beginning, they're going to want to know more about it and want as much security as they can. But if you're out there offering a high rate of return on interest and all that, that's what those people are looking for. And if you can solidify it by a 60 cents on the dollar real estate investment, that's what they love to invest in.
Okay.
You just need to find them.
Okay.
And, you know, I would suggest to you, too, the same thing we tell our realtor. We always tell our realtors, find an investor, and we tell our investors, find a realtor. It's truly, probate is one area where you can work very well together. But I would tell you the same thing we tell our realtors that are looking for investors. Try nationalria.com, National Real Estate Investors Association, and click on there'll be a chapter in your area. Click on there and call the president of the association and say, I'm looking for some hard money lenders. I guarantee you he can refer you to some people.
Okay.
That you know, that'll have the money if the deal is there, and go find
Right.
a realtor you can work with too. So you know.
And one other suggestion I'd make also is that if you're in the early phases of this, and you, like you said, you're candid and said you could access about 20 grand right now, but if you find a large property like that, you don't have something in your pocket to get it done, don't pass on it. Go find another investor in your local market that might be able to help you along, and maybe kind of go to school on them, take a small piece of a big deal and learn how they're doing it. You may find a good partner to work with, and then all you got to do is go find property, and you can move them through that channel as well.
Understood. Okay. I got one other question. Can I ask you one other question?
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. What are you guys' opinions on using VAs or third parties? Because one of the things, I've listened to your calls in the past, and one of the things you all preach when it comes to probate and reaching out to these the sellers is being consistent. And I've sent out mailings. I've done it for 1 week, maybe 2 weeks, and then I kind of fall off a little bit. Come back to it 2 or 3 weeks later, and then then I'm back to 1 week, 2 weeks, get up to 3 weeks, and then I might fall off again. Is there any VAs you all might recommend helping me with this, or third party sites or applications that might help me with my mailings?
You mean mailing or phone calls?
Mailings.
Oh, okay, with mailing, yeah.
Stuffing, I'm getting these leads, stuffing envelopes, and mailing them out to the personal representatives.
You do realize we offer that as a service within the company with our Mailbox Motivator program, right?
I've heard that. That's kind of part and why I was asking that question. I guess to get you all to elaborate on that a little bit.
Oh, well, just log in. If you need any help at all doing that, that's what that program is there for. We started that because we didn't find the right set of folks to be able to offer it as a service, and we built that. And you have to. I don't think. Are you a customer at this point?
I guess you could say I'm kind of probing.
Okay, well that's fine. That's fine.
I do want to, I sit there and tell myself, I want to sign up for your, probate mastery course. It's just a matter of doing it. That's all.
Let me make 2 suggestions to you. First off, get off the diving board. The water's fine. Jump in the pool and get rolling here. And Chad said kind of the same thing. And the second thing is we've got everything that you need to do what you need to get done quickly and get it over with. And we have a good mailing system called Mailbox Motivator. We've got sample letters that you can use for prospecting, and everything you need to work with is there. And we can certainly help you. Just get some leads in your county and get started. Stop standing on the diving board and jump in, Bubba. We'll help you.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thanks, fellas.
All right, thank you. And this call is going to be a Rodger Lecy. Rodger, I know I always mispronounce your name. Rodger Lecy sandwich, because Rodger's up again.
This is a really good way to end the call right there with that. And what I had, I can't top that. So let's go ahead and end the call. And God bless y'all and help you. And you pronounce when you say Lecy, smile because the E is sound.
No, go ahead. You wanted to make a comment, obviously. What were you going to say?
I got an inbound call from a 2016 marketing effort with Mailbox Motivator call. I remember talking to the wife. She said it was all in trust and everything was taken care of, and the so on and so forth. And 2 weeks ago, I got a phone call, and it was a call to Chicago, out of town inheritor, and I got a call 2 weeks ago from the husband who said, "Yeah, my wife told me to give you a call, and that you had a program. You might be who I need to talk to." He came to town first time, and there was a house involved, and I said, "Well, the probate showed only that there was." Only that there was no real estate involved in the probate, and he said, "Well, I'm ready to sell the house now. I'll check the county records. He got the title transferred in his name on a trustee's deed. Blah. He's got full access to sell it and put it on the market. 2 days I got 2 multiple offers, and it's scheduled to close October the 23rd."
That's
so
great.
the 2000. This is from a 2016 lead that I made the call, kind of tapered off. He remembered, and at that time, I remember the call. I was struggling for the same thing. How do I keep from jumping right into real estate? And I remember saying, I need to say all of the personal possessions are taken care of, and the furniture and everything, so on and so forth. And have you got a financial planner to help you with that? And now I've added to that creating a question in their mind, and our attorney's got everything, and that's what I was talking about. So the estate sale is set for through one of my estate sellers in a couple of weeks, and then we're going to close on the house, and it was a cash deal, and we got at market value at it, and he was really juiced, and I'm keeping him updated on the inspection was today, no big deals. And I said, looks like we got a clear path to closing.
That's great. And we hear that all the time, Rodger. We've had a couple dozen people in the last couple months that, tried our program for a month, didn't get anything immediately, said it doesn't work. And then 4 months later, 6 months later, a year later, we had the gentleman that a year later he got a $30,000 commission of $30,000 on somebody who called him a year later. So he had his assistant get out the year-old leads and start calling them, and he took 3 more listings. And so that's the nice thing. These things do season well. A significant percentage of people are ready to do something now, but people will put your letter away and call you a year later. And you just gotta work the program and take advantage of the cumulative effect. And you've done that as well as anybody. So great story. Thank you. And I think that's a great way. Go ahead.
And
another comment?
The last thing that I'm going to do, scheduled tomorrow, is I'm going to be knocking on doors in that neighborhood and tell them that I got Mr. Toller's house sold, his son in Chicago, blah 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 blah. Give him a card and current market statistics, and say if I can help you any way, I can. This happened within a week. It was under contract.
Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. I mentioned that earlier. You do as well as anybody at getting residual business from probate. So thank you so much for contributing today, Rodger. I think that winds it up. Any of my partners have any closing comments, or should we let everybody get back to work?
I have one thing I want to add, and it's just kind of a sort of the end of the thing here, and it has nothing to do with anything we've been talking about. I want to just point out to you guys and everybody that's on this call that we have a part of our nation right now that's suffering, and we've got people in Puerto Rico who are dying of thirst and dying of hunger, and it's going to continue and get worse before it gets better. So if there's anything at all that you can do in your local community to help and make that better, and certainly anything that you can contribute or help make that work, one of the things I'm going to challenge my partners and I to do while we're together is see what we can do to make that happen and be a force for change there. But Puerto Rico is part of the United States. They're just as important as the folks in Florida and the folks anywhere else in the world that have problems, but we're not giving them maybe the same attention that we did if it was in Houston or if it was in South Florida. And I urge you to look into your hearts and see what you can do to help the people in Puerto Rico. They are literally dying of thirst and dying of hunger, and it is a devastated world down there. So pay attention.
Well said. Guys, thank you so much. Great call, great contributions, good stories. We really appreciate everybody taking the time to be here. I always like to end these calls by challenging everybody. Take one thing, one idea, one thought that inspired you today. Go out and put it into practice, and please come back next Thursday and share it with the group. Thank you so much, guys. Make it a great week. We'll talk to you all same time next Thursday. Take care.